What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a full take on Netflix's The Old Guard 2. It released this last Independence Day weekend on July 2nd, so let's go ahead and take a dive into this. This video will contain spoilers on the movie, so if you have not seen it and do not want to be exposed to spoilers, now is your time to stop on this video. I will go ahead and I'm going to give you a couple of seconds if you're not quite catching on to that yet. There is spoilers ahead. Please leave. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into this. I hope everyone had a fantastic 4th of July weekend. I hope everyone made it out of here with your all fingers and toes attached. No, this is not related to 4th of July fireworks. This is a public service announcement to please be careful when you're in the kitchen. Mandolins are not very friendly, y'all, so I took a nice slice out of my finger there with that. But anyway, on to the movie. Old Guard 2, let's jump into this. So we saw a returning cast here, a very talented cast in my opinion, right? We have Charlize Theron, we have Kiki Layne, we have Uma Thurman, we have Henry Golding. There was just a lot of really talented actors and actresses that were on screen executing on this story, and building upon the events that we saw at the end of the first one, where Charlize Theron's character Andy she lost her immortality. We don't really fully understand why, and it was kind of like that oh shit moment, but no pun intended, right? It humanized things at the very end of it and kind of left things to your imagination. Here in the second film, we take a deeper jump into the fact that she's not immortal, and kind of the way that it plays. And some characters that come up, some characters that we see include one of Andy's friends or partners from like a long time ago that used to fight side by side, and then she got put into this tomb and she got dropped into the bottom of the ocean, where for centuries she just kept drowning. And then finally got let out, and now she's like on, a revenge path because of the original immortal Uma Thurman's character, who goes by Discord in this film. And apparently she is just bad, and she's evil, and she is out for all sorts of revenge and crap like that. But we find out that while she is the first, Kiki Layne's character, Niall, is apparently the last of the immortals. Like, there is a finite amount of these guys that apparently can exist at a certain time. And the reason why Andy had lost her immortality is because while she was sparring, or while she was fighting with Niall in the first one, Niall had managed to get a hit on her. She managed to wound her, and that took away her immortality. That's some special gift that Niall apparently has. But then what it did is, when she takes away someone's immortality, it gives it back to someone that had previously lost it. And then so that becomes this thing later in the movie that they start kind of experimenting with as they're slowly figuring it out, because then in a sparring match, Niall wounds Booker, one of the other immortals, and then Andy gets her immortality back. So it's this weird, like, we dove into how these guys exist, and now some of these rules about their existence and how that plays into Discord and Discord's plans, because she's going to slowly make each of them mortal so that she can kill them. It was just kind of weird going through all of that. From a cinematic perspective, the opening act, I guess you could say, really reminded me a lot of Six Underground, the movie that Ryan Reynolds did some time back. Just bright, vibrant kind of like art pieces, and over the top with some of like the action and the car driving and things like that. It wasn't bad. It was a stark reminder that I was like, holy crap, this is Six Underground almost to a T. And then they went back to their own story. Like I said, guys, let me back up a little bit, right? The biggest problem that I think I have with this specific film is it wasn't needed. And I kind of like hinted at that in my quick take. This one wasn't needed. No one really asked for this sequel, and there are some times that we can get away with having a sequel that we didn't ask for, but at least, they did it halfway decent. I think Gladiator 2 is a really good example of that. Obviously, Gladiator was awesome, and no one really asked for a sequel to it, but we got it, and we got it with Pedro Pascal and Denzel Washington, and you watch it, like, that was an awesome movie. So if you were going to do a sequel that no one asked for, at least you did it right. And I don't really think I can say that I feel the same about The Old Guard 2. I think The Old Guard 1 was awesome. We didn't ask for the sequel, we got a sequel, and it was not the sequel that we really wanted it to be, because my biggest issue with it is they didn't end the story. They're gearing up for a third one, so at this point now it almost feels like it's a cash grab on a franchise that started out as just absolute gold. So that's my biggest issue with this, is we opened up Pandora's box. We opened up this new story with these new characters here in the second one, only to prime and charge it for the third one. So I kind of left I left this movie, I finished this movie feeling kind of empty in regards to being happy about having watched this movie and feeling satisfied about having watched this movie. I don't really think that that was something that I was really happy with. That being said, it was not a horrible movie. It's fun. You could have it on in the background as one of like just those action movies to watch, right? But I don't think that this needs to be the one that you are prioritizing over other movies in your queue or other movies on your to-do list, your wish list, your whatever you specifically call it. I don't think that the Old Guard 2 needs to be prioritized. Now, some happy nods because I just spent a minute or two there just absolutely trashing on this movie. The cast did great. The writing was decent, right? I mean, and the way that they executed on this story was very well done. Charlize Theron reprising her role of Andy again, she did very, very well about that and being involved in that story. Kiki Lane did the same thing with Niall. I think that Uma Thurman joining the cast, she did a really good job. I could not help, but every time Uma Thurman was on screen, me being a 90s kid, I just kept having Poison Ivy flashbacks. So I was definitely there for it. Henry Golding joining the cast, I have loved him in a couple of different films. The Gentleman being my all-time favorite movie. Him in there. There are people in this movie that I enjoyed seeing on screen, and they did their characters well. It never thought like it was just throwing in a well-known actor or actress for screen grab or for cash grab. I do feel like they played their roles very well within the story that they were given. I just simply don't think that this story should have existed. That's that. I don't know. What are your guys' takes on this film? Have you watched it yet? If you have, I'd love to know what your takes are down in the comments there. As always, guys, please give this video a like. It definitely helps me out a ton. Give me a subscribe. That helps out a ton, and you can be notified the next time that I go off and do another quick take or a full take for a film. And as always, guys, again, thank you so much, and until next time, see ya.